It's Wednesday on Comic Book Canon. That's right, our first ever Wednesday show. Because it'll be Christmas on Friday. We want to be with our families. As much as we want to be with you, we made it happen on Wednesday. That's why we're here. We're here to talk about the things that we love, comic books and everything that revolves around it. And I have the perfect co-host, partner in crime, Christopher. How are you, buddy?
Yo, weren't we just here a few days ago?
Honestly, man, in this COVID world, the days just, I don't know. It's just all over the place. But we're glad to be here. We're glad to be able to produce this show this week before Christmas. We'll have another show on next Wednesday before New Year's, talking about everything comics. But we're going to have a fun show tonight. We're glad that you guys are here to join us. And we do have quite a bit to talk about, including finally being able to discuss that final episode of Mandalorian. So we're gonna have some spoilers here. So just prepping you guys off the bat, right off the top. We will have spoilers. We're gonna remind you again probably 2 more times. But Chris, how about we just get into it? This is based off of what we saw from that final episode of Mandalorian, Chris. Just take it away. Super exciting.
Yeah, man. Star Wars news just keeps getting juicier and juicier. And we were treated with the announcement within, the end credit scene of the last episode of Mandalorian to a Boba Fett show. Book of Boba Fett. Like, wow. Could we not get any more juicy when it comes to the meat on the bones here? So after that was released, there was a lot of controversy because it said the release date was in December of 2021. There was a lot of controversy in talk within fans saying, oh, well, this Boba Fett show is going to take over the Mandalorian. That's it. That's all we're going to see. Pascal is done. I mean, even, Grace Rudolph was talking about all these issues and what does that mean for the future? Is Boba Fett taking over and all this? Well, Variety has now reported that there's confirmation that the book of Boba Fett, and this is good news, is completely separate from Mandalorian Season 3, guys. So that's going to, put all this talk to rest. Hopefully all this outcry, thinking that there might be some type of replacement. So the new Boba Fett show will be one of 4 shows, including The Mandalorian, under the creative team of Favreau and Filoni, all of which will be existing within the same timeline. So count 4. That's The Mandalorian. We got the Ahsoka show. We got Rangers of the New Republic and Book of Boba. So and it was talked about this formula being one that's to mimic the Marvel Studios formula and that model of success, hoping to propel, the Star Wars universe to these similar heights. And, I definitely think this is the way to go. This is the approach. And you got the right people, just like we, trusted Feige under the Marvel Studios umbrella. You got, Filoni and Favreau, the ones for seeing these 4 shows. So I'm very thankful. I know we don't have an announcement date yet for a season 3. I'm going to guess, if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that they're going to probably maybe run it shortly after the Boba Fett show. So, instead of having that early, fall release, maybe it's going to be an early 2022 release. Who knows? But all that we know is that, look, Mandalorian is not done. We're getting a season 3 and a bunch of other awesome stuff.
And actually, just to clear this up, Jon Favreau was on Good Morning America maybe yesterday, explaining that they are in production for Boba Fett right now to be released in December of 2021. They are going to shortly after that's released, shortly after they wrap production for Boba Fett, they're going to jump into season 3 of The Mandalorian. So I think it's safe to expect that they could be very close, bookending, no pun intended, from the Book of Boba Fett to Mandalorian season 3. So that's super exciting news. Continuing this timeline, again, as you said, you got Ahsoka, you got Rangers of the New Republic, Book of Boba Fett, and Mandalorian. All 4 of those shows are along the same timeline. There's another 7 shows, I believe, on top of the Rogue Squadron movie. Holy cow, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. On top of the comics, like, guys, I just talked about this last week. I just jumped into the comic books, I don't know, within the past 6 months. I'm really enjoying what's going on there. Absolutely loving what's going on there. But we would kind of regret talking all this Mandalorian stuff without talking about our feelings from that final episode. As you recall, Chris was unable to watch the final episode before the season 2 finale before our Comic Book Cam show on Friday. But here we are, and Chris, you have to tell the story of what you called during our pre-show last week about what you think may happen. Because I was just curious. It wasn't part of our rehearsal. We're just shooting the shit. We're just talking. I wanted to see what you thought. No, because I already experienced it, and I really experienced it. I was like, whoa. So, Chris, tell our audience what you told me.
Well, I talked about this in my pre-show today, and like to your point, Jeff, you said, hey, look, I'll keep a straight face. I won't give anything away. Because I had brought up that I thought there was going to be 2 pivotal things going on in my live show last week. And that's all I said. I said, there's going to be something that has to do specifically with Mando himself. And then there's going to be somebody there's going to be somebody showing up. That's all I said. And then Jeff, I come over here and we're rehearsing, and Jeff's like, I know you brought up those 2 things, but come on, give me some details. I'm going to keep a straight face. I won't. So I went into it and I started off with the Mando thing. Now the Mando, I will say, I thought there might have been,
guys, there are spoilers here. You may want to drop off and not watch this. Drop off right now. Drop off right now.
Yeah. I thought there might be a little more explanation to where there might be some old connection to the Empire with Mando. But I remember, and Jeff, correct me if I'm like verbatim here, I was like, Mando's going to do, something's going to happen with Mando that goes against everything we know about his beliefs in the Creed ever since episode 1 of season 1. And what did he do? He takes his mask off in front of everyone for the sake of the child.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just so. But I was asking Jeff, like, what were you thinking? Like, when he just thought I was screwing with him. But here's the big one, and it cracks me up just because of. I remember how I said it to him. I said, okay, the second thing is this reveal. Look, it wasn't a mystery that I think everyone were like, we're going to see another Jedi. We're going to see Mace Windu, or we're going to see like Obi-Wan's ghost, or maybe even Luke Skywalker, played by Sebastian Stan. So when I'm telling Jeff, I'm like, the second thing is somebody's going to show up, and I'm going to tell you Luke Skywalker, whether it's Sebastian Stan. But then I went on a rant by saying, but you know what? I wouldn't doubt that Mark Hamill has been sitting on his couch watching Mandalorian, being like, these guys are freaking doing it. You know what? I'm going to call Jon Favreau right now and say, John, I don't care what I said about being done with the character after the sequel trilogy. You guys are doing such an awesome, kick-ass job. Bring me back, CGI me young, and call it a night. And it happened. And I was like, I remember Jeff's face when I was saying this, and his
He called it. He called it.
Yeah, after I watched it, I was like, and you guys probably see my Instagram little video that I did, but I blew myself away because of how to the T. And like I said, the story of Mark Hamill sitting on the couch making the phone call, that just really cracked me up afterwards. And
I mean, you have to admit, I did not reveal anything in my face. I still stayed straight face. I didn't. I was like, he's messing with me. He's seen this episode. He's totally, but anyways, just to go over our feelings again, let's all share our feelings, because holy cow, there are a lot. You see this hooded dude walking through, you see the X-Wing flying in first. He jumps out and he is just crushing the troopers, the death troopers. It was just unbelievable. You see the green lightsaber and you're like, no way. And then you see him there and you're like, holy cow. I was giddy as giddy can be, man. Like, that was just, and I said this last week, that was the best season finale of any series I have ever seen, hands down. I was amazed at how they kept this all a secret, especially with all the leaks they had regarding Ahsoka and Rosario Dawson. Phenomenal. Kudos to the crew. Kudos to the creators. Kudos to everybody involved in all of that. It was outstanding, worth the effort of being tight-lipped for over a year. I loved it. Yeah.
And, I like everyone involved, to Peyton Reed, the director of the episode. Dude, for seeing the X-Wing come in and seeing the fight scenes first on the black and white monitor, because it was the build up to the green saber. Because right when we saw the green saber, we knew who it was. I mean, at that, but it's just an X-wing. Oh, just one X-wing, and then we see it is a Jedi, and it's in black and white. But then boom, it's like that build up. That may be a very small aesthetic, but them doing that was like amazing. And I know you, Jeff, being in film and stuff. I mean, you could probably speak to that. How those little things, I think, really set such a bigger tone in how we get, how it brings us in. And I thought that was really awesome for that black and white to the color green lightsaber build up.
I just felt like a kid again, right? I felt like a kid in the theater just watching. I just was again, so blown away. Dan De La Torre, poker face. Yes, I absolutely, Chris can attest, I had a poker face. I did not lit on to anything at all. And by the way, Dan, you guys are not groupies. We love having you here, and you're only 2 of 8 people, so easy. Come on, there's other people here. You're one of us. So yeah.
Yeah, I will. Oh, yes.
It's a birthday gift for my daughter. Has Hanukkah, Christmas, and her birthday within 6 weeks. So this one's going to be her birthday. She's going to be super stoked. Anyways,
that's awesome. Hey, I do want to say though, to this Luke Skywalker thing, they did it right. They did it right.
Yeah.
I really feel from this, Mark Hamill got his justice. Okay. Now, I really feel that they can take a Luke Skywalker TV show with Sebastian Stan now. I really feel that they can hand this thing off to Sebastian Stan to take that mantle from that point in time and have an awesome freaking series, man. That's all I gotta say.
Again, there's so much to explore, but I really think that they're going to get away from Skywalker. This is a bold statement by Jeffrey Coffey here. This is a bold statement. I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, and that was my favorite Star Wars experience. Wow. My wife and 3 young daughters are all into it as well. Amazing show. Man, I mean, it's not crazy to say that, Jeffrey. It is not crazy to say that at all, because that had all of us in here. It had such an impact on. Like, again, I can't emphasize enough how amazing that was. How it was the best season finale of any series I've ever seen, and I just can't wait for more from these creators, Filoni, Favreau, and everybody else involved. Again, kudos. We could talk about this all night, Chris.
I watched it twice that night. Yeah. After my kids went to bed, I went and watched it again.
Yeah, I saw it twice the same day as well. I saw it in the morning, and then after our show last week as well. It was just nice. Woo! Hernani Ferreira, what's up, guys? How are you, sir? Thank you for joining. Okay, but moving on. I mean, we could be talking about this forever. But and I forgot to bring the lower third here. It was a shocking Mandalorian season 2 finale. Anyways, moving on from that, it's hard to segue because that was so amazing. We had my bad. I'm just still flustered from talking about all that Star Wars stuff. We had Tessa Thompson. As you know, she played Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok, and she played Valkyrie rather well. Excellent addition to the MCU. But she had some comments on what we can expect from Thor Love and Thunder this week. That is right. She's basically saying expect more heroes in Thor Love and Thunder. I mean, how amazing is that? She says, I'd say there's some cool stuff going on. We have some new characters. We have some folks potentially from other pockets of the MCU. And then we have some folks maybe that we've seen before. That opens up a whole realm of possibilities, Chris, and that's super exciting. Now, we want to know what you guys think here. Who would take a stab? Who would Tessa Thompson be alluding to in terms of new characters coming to Thor Ragnarok, whether they be in the Thor mythos or the MCU mythos? They can go anywhere. They can pull from a wide range, because we do know this. We do know Star-Lord will be involved in Thor Love and Thunder, right? We do know that. We do know there will be the Jane Foster version of Thor. Absolutely, we know that. We also know that Gore the God Butcher will be making his hopefully first of many appearances, because he's a dynamic villain. So that's exciting as well. Who could she be talking about? So Chris and I took a stab. We each allowed ourselves one guess, right? And to be honest, we're going with low hanging fruit here. Okay, it's not. This isn't a reach by any means. We want to see what you guys think though. What characters do you think could be showing up in Thor: Love and Thunder? Chris, I'm going to go first. Again, low hanging fruit for both Chris and I because my pick is Beta Ray Bill. I would love to see him. He's a well established character, especially within Thor storylines. He's been around for quite a while. He's wielded Mjolnir as well. But he's also had a little Easter egg drop in Thor Ragnarok when you see the skyline of Sakaar there. There is a gigantic statue where maybe he was a warrior on Sakaar as well. But as you can see right there, the arrow pointing straight to a profile of what looks to be Beta Ray Bill. I would suggest I would put money down that we are going to see Beta Ray Bill in Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, Chris. What do you have? Who
All right. Before I give mine away, I want to see, do we see B. Schnurr's guess in the comments there?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to pull it up. Black Winter. Just the first 20 minutes, though. Maybe he'll be back in the third act, too, by the way. Oh, Gomez, the comic collector is here. What's up, my man?
Gomez.
Happy to have you here, sir. All right, here we go. By the way, happy holidays to all you all, too. We'll make sure to be saying that before the end of the show. But what we're doing here, again, we want to see what your guesses are as to who could be showing up in Thor: Love and Thunder, in addition to all of the other announcements. Jane Foster, Thor, Star-Lord, Gore the God Butcher, et cetera, et cetera. All right, Chris.
My announcement is my guess is one that's going to make me rich. On my 20 Warlock in the Infinity Watch #1s, Adam Warlock, man. I'm shooting for Adam Warlock, guys. We got, the taste so long ago. It seems like 20,000 years ago, in the end of Guardians Volume 2, when we saw him Cocoon. Oh man, James Gunn, why'd you have to go and do what you did? Whatever, it's all good. You're back. Here's the thing: we all know that the creative teams had to sit down and work around this time lapse from Volume 2 and Volume 3 of Guardians. We know that Volume 3 is coming, but Volume 3 was originally supposed to come, in 2020, this year. So they had to change it around. We know that they're bringing Star-Lord into Thor: Love and Thunder, and I think it's because Thor: Love and Thunder is going to segue into Volume 3 of Guardians, and what better way to set that up than with the Warlock? So my guess for this character showing up is that it's either going to be kind of like a cameo at the end or somewhere in the film. I don't think this is somebody that's going to show up and be a part of Thor's movie, but I think there could be some possible segue surrounding Warlock that leads into Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
It's not bad. It's not a bad thought. I mean, again, you have the connection with Star-Lord being in there. Maybe they'll go with the as Guardians of the Galaxy route. I don't know. That was a comic book at one point, so who knows? We'll see. I don't know. But you know what? Every time I see that, the cocoon, I'm just so pumped at the design because it's so close to what we see in Fantastic Four 67, which is an issue you guys should all be on your radar because even if Adam Warlock does not show up in Love and Thunder, he will be showing up in the MCU at some point. All right, let's check out everybody's guesses. I saw Dan De La Torre had a great guess here. Hercules and Olympus may make an appearance at some point. Man, there has been a lot of talk about Hercules. Absolutely. And then he brought up another good point, and that would bring in Zeus. So I do believe Hercules' first appearance was a battle against Thor, and I think it's one of his annuals. I cannot remember the specific issue. He makes his first appearance, but that would be fantastic to have a Hercules in there. Again, there has been a lot of talk over the past few years about bringing this character in, but who knows? Who knows? So I do like that call. I know Bishner was joking with the Black Winter. And then, and here's Bishner. Ooh, I like him and Star-Lord saying bye, and he lands and starts some shit. That'd be pretty cool. I'm telling you, man. But, we'll see. Our guesses are not out of the realm of possibilities. I definitely like Dan De La Torre's guess with Hercules. You guys have any others? We'll talk about it, at the end of the show, Q&A. But it's super exciting. 2022 is going to be another great year for the MCU love, man, because like
Yep.
Taika Waititi, once he starts getting started on this, I can't wait to start even getting some looks. You guys remember those trailers that we had coming out for Ragnarok? Blew me away with Led Zeppelin. Oh, come on. Like, it was just absolutely blew me away checking out that trailer. So, anyways, all right, we're going to be moving on. But first, we want to say hello to Swaggle House Comics and Games. Yo, yo, yo.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? We do have a fresh from the comic book shop edition here with Swaggle House. He's contributing. He showed off one of his comic books.
Nice.
You guys keep that in mind.
Nice.
We want you guys talking about what you guys have picked up this week. What is fresh from the comic book shop in your world? So let us know. Chris and I will be sharing our new pickups. But before we do, we're not done with news yet because we have another amazing MCU story. Chris, how about you take it away?
Yes. So we got confirmation on Investors Day of She-Hulk. Whatever was going on behind the scenes, She-Hulk is confirmed. We got that from Kevin Feige. And now Kevin Feige speaks out and confirms the show's tone and what it's going to feel like. Guys, Feige spoke on the show about it being a half-hour comedy that's never been done before, taking a legal comedy type tone, referencing heavily the John Burns late 80s, early 90s comic book run. So this is very, very interesting. Again, we see Marvel taking really what's the word? Different and fresh routes and really trying something new here. And Jeff, we were talking about how the offbeat vibe and banter of this comic book series was really pre-Deadpool, talking about breaking the fourth wall and whatnot. And I mean, look, I'm all for Marvel Studios getting so creative with all these different formulas and how they really are working their characters into their own type of tonnage.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect this to be like a comedy, like a laugh track at all. Although WandaVision will have a laugh track. They had a live audience, but it's going to be a weird sitcom vibe. They're doing the weirdness on purpose. I think this will be a comedy, an MCU comedy. We haven't seen an MCU comedy before. And
Ant-Man and Wasp.
I think it'll be a way different tone, way different tone. Right. That was definitely action with Paul Rudd bringing in what he does.
Exactly.
Paul Rudd's great, but I really think they're going straight comedy for this, where She-Hulk will break the fourth wall. And guys, she did this way before Deadpool did. Like at least 10, 15 years before Deadpool did. I would have this issue, She-Hulk #1 by John Byrne. I think it came out in '89. Have this issue on your radar, guys. It's like a $10 book. I guarantee you, once we start seeing the first trailer or what we understand of what kind of tone the show will have, this thing is going to go up. Keep an eye out. They're out there. I wouldn't be surprised you can find them in a long box for $5, but it's totally worth your while. Start picking up those issues, absolutely. But this is another new, fresh tone, fresh take that Marvel will be going with, and super excited to see them continue to push the boundaries.
Right, push boundaries. There you go. The one thing, and look, I have no doubt that this is going to work. But the one thing that I want to focus on is that I do hope that Marvel understands, which I do believe they do. It's good to have each character's tone. You have this different tone for each character, but you have to do it in a way where you understand that you can bring them all together under the same tone. For example, bringing them together in an Avengers movie or something like that. Because if you take a tone so far one way and then it doesn't correlate into the greater tone of the universe, then I think it becomes problematic. But I think we've seen Kevin Feige understands how to do this on a level that we probably have never, ever seen before. And I mean, look at Spider-Man. He was in Homecoming, went straight to Infinity War Endgame and then went right back to Far From Home without skipping a beat.
Yeah.
And they had completely different tones. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this really unique tone in this show, and then to see how She-Hulk's gonna translate over into some type of Avengers crossover.
She will be crossing over, no doubt about that. All of these characters will be making it to the big screen as well in different versions, and continuing to have season 1, season 2, season 3, etc. I think we really take for granted the fact that how difficult this is. Like when they first made the announcement of what Marvel Studios was going to do when they launched Iron Man, you know, I was on cloud 9. I didn't know what it would be like, but I was psyched that somebody was going to be attempting this because nobody ever did attempt expanding it, just a gigantic universe with all of these characters available to them. So we really take for granted how hard it is to make this happen, because they not only execute on this, they execute in a way that it's just they set the bar, and it's a bar of excellence. It's a bar of excellence. And again, DC tried. They're still trying. We hope that they get there, but they have not been successful. And Dan De La Torre, you bring up a very good point. Smartest purchase in entertainment history is Disney buying Marvel, along with thousands of characters. They also bought 80 years of storyline. So true. And I think they've recouped their investment at this point. No doubt in my mind. No doubt. So again, guys, don't take this for granted. This is really difficult to do in a production world, because you have to coordinate storylines, you have to coordinate production dates, you have to coordinate, you know, multiple directors, making sure that this movie kind of can tie into this, and then all of this stuff on top of coordinating all of the actors' schedules. Like it's a massive undertaking. Appreciate this, guys, and hopefully it'll only get better. I mean, it's already amazing, but just appreciate it, because it's a monumental task, and kudos to Kevin Feige.
Absolutely.
But speaking of DC, that's right, everybody. You know what Friday is? Wonder Woman 1984. Coming out on HBO Max and in theaters if it's available and safe to you. That's right. We are finally going to get to see Wonder Woman 1984. And guys, Chris and I have been talking about this for weeks. This is really see the door opening up in terms of the comic book content, just kind of the floodgates opening. This is coming out on Friday. 3 weeks after that, you have WandaVision. In March, you have, I think it's Falcon and Winter Soldier. We have another series. Oh, we have Black Widow coming out in May, and another series coming. You know, it just goes on and on and on. And guys, 2021 will be a glorious year for comic book content, starting off with Wonder Woman 1984, which already has a fresh Rotten Tomato review. It's getting critical reviews. It looks amazing. Fans, it's just super exciting. Chris, how are you feeling?
I purchased my HBO Max subscription last week. Ready to go. I'm gonna we're gonna do Christmas, cook a big ham dinner, and then sit with the popcorn in my make-believe movie theater in the living room and go in on it, man. I'm excited. I'm really, talk about not taking things for granted. I'm just appreciative of this. I think this is really, again, we talk about these petty little things that we enjoy, comic books and superheroes and movies and entertainment. It doesn't mean really nothing to the grand scope of the world. But I'm gonna get deep here just for a quick second. Look, this means something, man. It means something to us. This is art. And this is the type of art that all of us who are watching right now really live for, and we have had, whether we're grown adults, old, young, children, teenagers, this has been a year, guys. I mean, we have experienced a world that none of us in our lifetimes have experienced before. And, I know many of us celebrate Christmas. Maybe some of us celebrate other holidays and whatnot, but I think we all get that same type of holiday feeling, what it means to us being with family and just appreciating the things that we have. And I'm going to get deep here and say, look, this matters on a deep level, dude. This really does. It may seem, surface and all, but look, I'm really appreciating this because it's giving me some type of goodness in an art form that just makes me appreciate the little things right now with everything that we've been through. So thank you to Warner Brothers. I know they're getting a lot of crap, and I know there's a lot. We always talk about the business aspect of it. There's a lot of, this isn't good for everyone. Obviously, it's not what anyone wants really, but it's what we have right now. And I'm grateful that, Warner Brothers made the decision to give this to us. So there you go. That's my little nugget.
Yeah, the only thing, again, I'll add on top of that, I'm extremely grateful as well because, guys, this COVID thing hit all of us. It's affected everybody in this world. Everybody in this world. And for me personally, I've been able to dive back in and reignite my passion for comic books and be able to do a fun show with Chris like this every week. So I'm very grateful for that. The segment wasn't meant to be, for us to kind of share how grateful we are, but I'm grateful that we'll be able to be watching Wonder Woman 1984. I'm grateful that, we're all going to be getting through this soon. Hopefully this is definitely the beginning of the end of this COVID nightmare we're all going through, but I'm glad we had this all together. We've been able to talk together, and we'll be able to continue to talk together, maybe meet in person someday and do all this fun stuff in person. But again, sharing and being able to watch this stuff together, that's what it's all about, talking about it and just fueling our passions for it. So very, very, very happy that this is happening on Friday. So that is our news for today. We are going to be live again next week.
I know we keep going on.
Go ahead.
I got to cut you off here. I'm sorry. I know we want to get to the next segment and everyone else does, but you really just gave me goosebumps with that, man. And I want to say I appreciate you saying that so much. And because, God, can you imagine one day, guys, we're going to be holding a comic book canon like freaking convention or something where we really can maybe have the opportunity to meet some of you guys. I mean, look, you mentioned that right now, Jeff. That I'm putting that in here right now, because I'm gonna say it, saving it for later. We're gonna make something happen.
Yeah,
we're gonna make something happen.
All about that. All about that.
We'll leave it at that.
All right, but that is our news for the week. We're not done with the feels for the week again because we love you all. We want to share the love and talk about that. We'll be talking about it next week too for our last show of the year. We're going to be moving on to the next segment, but before we do, we got some hellos to say. Coffee Breath, hello, it's good to see you again. And of course, Kid Collector, yo, sorry I'm late, y'all. Yo, Kid Collector, you never have to apologize. Don't worry about it, man. We're just glad you're here. All good. Are we all going to C2E2 next year? That would be a dope spot. It most certainly would. Let's keep it in mind, guys. Let's keep a comic book canon kind of group gathering in mind for some destination. That would be amazing. Let's first thought of here on episode 32. All right, but moving on. All right, moving on. We have some fun stuff to get to because we love this segment here. This is called Fresh from the Comic Shop. That's right, Fresh from the Comic Shop, where Chris and I, and you guys as well, discuss all of your fresh gets from the comic book shop or your mail calls or what have you. Just time to show off what you got. I see Jeffrey Claffey, he's posted what he got this week. We want to hear from everybody in here what you guys got each and every week. We will share that with you. We'll talk about it, tell you what we think about each one. So Chris, time for Fresh from the Comic Shop. What do you have first?
Well, it is A1 Wednesday, guys, and I hope that you guys watching go check out their live sale that's happening right now on Instagram. So as soon as you're done here, they're going to be going until 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. So you got plenty of time to hop from the end of the show, hop on over there. So big shout out to A1 Comics. This was from their sale. I mean, this was from last week, but I want to show it off this week. 50% off sale, guys. This is a bunch of Doctor Strange. It's his volume 2 run, Bronze Age, Copper Age run. And I just went in because, I'm really big on Doctor Strange right now, guys. I think Doctor Strange is really, first off, I think his standalone film in the MCU is there's no bad film in the MCU. I don't think the Doctor Strange film gets talked about enough and how well they did that movie. And I think he's going to play such a pivotal role. We talk about no more Iron Man, no more Cap. We got Spider-Man. Maybe Captain Marvel is going to be a big figure, but come on, guys. Doctor Strange is really going to play a pivotal role. Obviously, we know he's going to be connected to WandaVision, Spider-Man 3, and, of course, then Doctor Strange 2. And I just went in. I got most of these for either $1.50 or $2 each and just filling some holes in some runs.
What, you didn't tell us what issues those were, though. You're not doing this right.
Yeah. Well, I got 62, 63, 64, 69, 61. some older 40-cent ones, 42, 45, and 43. So nothing, no, I'm not like specking on a specific book or anything. It's just what I do is I have my phone and I have my CLZ app, right? And I go to D, I'm going in the bins.
Yeah.
There's Doctor Strange. I go to my app. I go to my CLZ app. I pull up the Doctor Strange and I can see what I have and what I don't have. And I set my phone down and then I just go through and I, pull them out of the box until I get a nice little stack.
That's they're half off. It's pretty good. Hey, Keep It Through is in the show. What is happening?
Hello.
Happy for you to be here. Yo, man, we are talking about our fresh new gets. It's a segment we do every week, fresh from the comic book shop. Fresh from the comic shop. Throw, I know you got some crazy gets because you always get some crazy gets. So tell us what you got. All right, Chris, my turn. Here we go. You've been into Doctor Strange, right? And I've seen that the past few weeks. Here we go. I've been all into the Star Wars, guys. This isn't an old vintage issue, but it's a great cover. It's Star Wars 6. It is the cameo appearance of Ochia Bestoon. You see right here. This is his first cover appearance. So this is the second print. I had to get this. I'm pretty pumped that I did because it sold out rather quick. I got it from Things from Another World, tfaw.com. I really like that online shop. But I'm super happy to get this. This is, again, it sold out super quick at my comic shop, and it's the prices have at least been double on eBay. So anyways, pretty happy to get that. But moving on, Chris, you are next. What do you got?
I like that cover for sure. All right, so this was a book that if Isaac's in the house, he's gonna love this. I again, A1 Comics, a beautiful Silver Age 12 center, and it's Flash number 182. And I want to start working on more Flash stuff. I don't have a lot of early Flash stuff, and I saw this book and I just really enjoyed that. First off, it's in super nice condition. But this is very reminiscent of, the Spider-Man No More, where he's got his back turned and he's got his costume in the garbage can walking through the alley. So, here's Flash. He's like, oh, I can't be the Flash anymore. I'm throwing it all away. He's taking the boots off and he's saying, So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, just an add-on to my Silver Age Flash goodness for sure.
What issue is that again?
What's that?
What issue is that?
182.
182. I like that, man. Yeah. All right, guys. My fresh from the comic shop this week is nowhere near what it was last week. I got all new issues. I mean, to remind you, I got that amazing package from my brother. Blew me away. Amazing Spider-Man 97, 98 to complete the 96, 97, 98 set. So just throwing that out there. All right, but here we go. This is my second get for the week. It is King in Black #2. Really enjoying this series from Cates and Stegman. The art, so fantastic. This issue, it was decent. It just, I like the first issue better, to be honest, and I also like Venom 31, I believe it was. This one, again, I'm just collecting Venom and King in Black. This one just kind of kept the story. It didn't go anywhere, really. I mean, it's worth the read. Definitely pick it up. Something big happens at the end. I won't spoil that, but again, King in Black #2. This is the only issue I've read of the books I have gotten this week. But yeah, I mean, really excited to see because apparently Donny Cates says issue 3 is going to blow our minds. But he says that about all his work. So anyways, Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, I actually, because I'm still waiting on my issue #1 of King in Black for my pre-orders. I went ahead and paid for the digital. I read it, enjoyed it, but now I'm waiting on Venom 31 from my Marvel Mail subscription that still hasn't came. So, yeah, but we'll see. I might have to buy the
Venom 31 was excellent. I thought that was great. It was probably better than King in Black #1, my opinion.
Nice. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways.
All right. So, my next pick is a book that I just thought was really cool. We got an announcement of the Armor Wars, and this is just really interesting storyline. What if #8, right? Yep. What if Iron Man lost the Armor Wars? So, beautiful near mint copy there. Newsstand, late 80s newsstand. Whoop. and cool cover. And I haven't read it. I want to read this because I want to know what's going to happen, where they're taking it, and I'm really interested in seeing what plays out in the television show.
Yeah, man. I remember getting that off the rack. I can't remember the story. I'll have to reread it again, but I remember getting that one off the rack. I love that the 80s run of What If. Excellent, excellent, excellent. By the way, guys, I see a few of you have put in the comics that you picked up this week. Y'all should be doing that. We're going to talk about that once Chris and I finish up with ours. All right, next up here, it's another new book from the shop that it came out today. Guys, I've been loving this series. Loving this series. I love Peter David and what he's just an amazing writer. Maestro number 5. This is the final issue of this miniseries. It's been excellent so far. It is the origin of Maestro, how Hulk becomes this evil future version of himself. I can't recommend this series enough. Maestro number 5, written by Peter David and art by Jermaine Peralta. Dale Keown, who was a great collaborator with Peter David back in the 80s as well for their run. Just excellent. I love this series. Highly, highly recommend it. So Maestro number 5, I'm looking forward to reading this maybe tomorrow. All right, Chris, your turn.
All right. So I got a book here. I showed up on my channel. I got this on eBay. It was in a haul of 2. The other one is my number 1 pick. I'll save that for next. We'll do them one at a time. But this is Giant Size Avengers number 2. And why not? Some Kang action. We know that Kang is coming. This is a nice looking mid-grade. It's got a little like discoloring up here. The spine, the square bound spine is kind of flat. It's got some spine wear, but it's still really, really beautiful. Presents extremely well. And what's really cool about this one is Rama Tut, the older, past Egyptian incarnation of Kang. Haven't read it, but really happy to get this for really, really cheap. And it, just be a Kang book. I mean, Kang is absolutely hot right now.
Yep. Good reason. It's a good reason. We are going to see him in the MCU shortly, and that is exciting because he is just an iconic villain. You've been getting a lot of Kang stuff. You absolutely have, and I applaud that. I am all for that for you and your collection. All right, but moving on. We're talking about my collection for this one moment, for this one book. Here we go. I've been loving this series too. Absolutely. I haven't read this issue yet, but guys, Department of Truth by James Tynion. Oh my gosh, it is just crazy. So this is issue 4, just came out today. Super psyched to read this. It's basically, the premise is conspiracy theories. They come true if people believe them. So that's the gist of it. And it's really, really, really trippy, especially the end of issue 1. Super trippy, like just a whoa kind of what the F moment. So guys, highly, highly, highly recommend this one, Department of Truth. And as you can see, I went from my least excited to most excited. My last issue will be the one I'm most excited about. But Chris, what is next on your pickup?
Yeah. I'll say, man, I got to look for when the volume 1 of that's going to come out, the trade, because that's something my son, I think, would enjoy. He's totally into aliens and conspiracy theories and all kind of stuff like that. So, all right, guys, this is my last pick. I was really happy to find this. I talked about this in my video that I did about books to spec on for the 2021 Marvel or MCU release slate. There's so much. We know that there's so much between the movies and all the TV shows. And there was a lot of WandaVision stuff. So I picked this up. This is Giant Size Avengers number 4. This is the wedding of Wanda and Vision. And this is still a decently affordable key issue, that I think is going to continue to increase on people's radar, which obviously can drive the value up. This book, I think, personally, is going to play into the actual storyline and story arc of what we're going to see play out in WandaVision and then leading into, Multiverse of Madness. And we all know that them getting married is one element, leading to them having children is another element. And and I talked about in this video, this book leads into the first limited series of Vision and Scarlet Witch. Those some more books to really watch out for before this show drops. So again, a really, really nice looking mid-grade. I mean, I would say this is like a fine plus book, except for there's like a 1/2 inch spine split. So with that, I don't know, I call it probably like a 5.0. But guys, just to give you guys a little understanding, and I did, if you guys go watch my video, I broke down current fair market value for Raw and CGC. But I got both of these books after shipping. They basically came out to $11 each. I think it was $13. I did a best offer of $13, and then it was $8 shipping. So yeah, man. I mean, $11 each. I mean, you could find in a grade like this, just the giant size 4, you know, $20. I think fair market value probably is right around 20. So I was really lucky to get my hands on that.
Those two giant size Avengers are great pickups especially for MCU spec, like with Kang, and then obviously the wedding of Vision and Wanda. That's fantastic. Those are sweet. Really like this. All right, this is my final pickup of the week, guys. I've said it the past 3 books I brought up, but I absolutely love this series. This series is so out there. Rick Remender. I've mentioned this series before on previous shows. It's The Scumbag. Guys, you got to be reading this. This is absolutely the most ridiculous story. He's basically just a deadbeat, and I'm not going to get into it, but he gains superpowers, and the whole world the fate of the world is resting in the hands of the worst person in the world is basically the tagline of this. And he's really an atrocious human being, but it is a fun series full of comedy and just out there. I highly recommend this. This is issue number 3. The first 2 issues, outstanding. And I'm super psyched to be reading this. I'll be reading this in the next few days. The Scumbag, guys, put that on your read list. 100%. But Chris, we have Swaggle House who sent us. You guys should be sending us pics of your acquisitions, your pickups, fresh from the comic shop, because we got one from Swaggle House, and he got some nice Silver Age stuff here. This is Journey into Mystery number 92. I do believe it's the first appearance of Radioactive Man. I'm not too familiar with it. I looked this specific issue up. He goes to India. I don't know, but it's pretty sweet, man. That is a great looking book you got there. Looks like it's in fantastic shape as well. Guys, please send us your pickups. We want to share. We want to show your pickups during the show. It's, tag us on Instagram. Let us know, hey, I just picked this up. No matter what, before the show, we'll absolutely be sure to bring it on and share your books with everybody else. But speaking of sharing books here, Jeffrey Claffey picked up Department of Truth. Something is Killing the Children. I can't remember what issue. 13, I think. The new Spawn, B, C, and D covers. G.I. Joe. What is RAH? I'm not sure what that is. Wonder Woman, Batman Beyond, Ice Cream Man, King in Black, and Bounty Hunters. Dude, Jeffrey, you have a packed week here. That's good for you, man. That's a big week. I thought it was a slow week for most of us. That's a pretty big week for you. All right, we also have some other comments here of people who picked up some of their books. Here we go. Hernani, King in Black, Detective Comics, Ice Cream Man, Something is Killing the Children, Spawn, all 4 covers he got. Department of Truth and Red Hood. Good stuff. Hernani. Guys, send us pictures though. We want to see these pictures. So Kid Collector said he had to read 2 issues digitally because of quarantine. What 2 issues were those, kid? And what issues are you not able to pick up and you're missing and you're not happy about? What do we got? Oh, Dan De La Torre is still drooling about my Heroes for Hire CGC. It's actually CBCS. Right there. I love that. I love that book. I absolutely love that book. Thank you for noticing, sir. All right. What else do we got? He also said that your giant size Avengers are sweet pickups. And that's it. That's all we got for fresh. Unless you guys got more to share, we'll talk about it in Q&A. But right now, we are going to move on to our next segment. And y'all know what that is. It's Kid Collector's favorite segment of the week, every week, right? It is the top 10 hottest comic books of the week based off of cover prices data. They come out with this list every Monday. Our show is usually on Friday, so we talk about it then. Chris picks the 3 issues that interest him the most in that list and dissects it, breaks it down, and tells you why you should be interested in it as well. However, today's Wednesday, so it's a fresher list than normal. And I'm excited for Chris to get into it. But first, before Chris does, we are going to list these books off. How about it? All right, here we go. At number 10, we have Star Wars, number 2, volume 1. I do believe there's a lot of first appearances in there, including Obi-Wan and Chewie, maybe Han. Number 9 is Invincible Iron Man, number 1. This is Riri Williams, first in the Iron Man, or the Iron Heart suit, only on the cover though, not within the issue. At number 8, Daredevil, number 25. We all know what happens there. This is 3 weeks in a row it's been on this list, guys. Number 7, Thor, God of Thunder, number 2. I am surprised this is not higher on the list. First appearance of Gore, the God Butcher. Number 6 is Teen Titans Endless Winter Special, number 1. There's also a first appearance in that one. Number 5 is Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron. Number 4, Justice Society of America, the first appearance of Cyclone. Number 3 is WYRD, or Weird, number 1. Number 2 is the Weird number 1 variant cover I got in a dollar bin. I'm pretty happy about that. And number 1 is the comic book that people are finding most interesting here is Solid Blood number 17. Yes, number 17, even though that's the first issue. A lot of questions going there. I have that book as well. I have not read it. Want to hear from you guys what you thought. But before we do that, Chris is we're gonna start breaking it down, Chris, right? Because you got 3 books you picked here.
Yeah. Hey, very surprised to see Daredevil 25 still up there 3 weeks in a row.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, so three books this week. A little bit of a assortment of things, which is always fun, but I had to keep some Star Wars goodness in the mix. My number 3 pick, again, this was my number 1 pick last week. Star Wars number 2, the Marvel Volume 1 run. Guys, this book was still up 100% in sales from last week. But Jeff, tell me if I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think the CGC high for a 9.8 was somewhere around 500 or something. Do you remember?
I'm gonna have to check for you. I'll check. I'll get that info to you right.
Guys, yeah, a CGC 9.8 this week sold for $1,000, guys. Look, I talk a lot about hype and spec. We talk about the bell-shaped curves. We talk about short-term versus long-term return on investments. This book is one that is obviously blowing up. You got a really high possibility of seeing a big bell-shaped curve. But I'm going to tell you something. This is a book that was, I think, really undervalued for a long time, that although it might cool off a little bit, I do not think it's coming down that much, if ever. And then again, I always end with talking about the long-term investment in this book, obviously being a Bronze Age Marvel, being the original Star Wars comic book run with all these first appearances of these iconic characters, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Han Solo, Chewbacca. This book is finally hitting it's getting its due. And like I said, I know there's a lot of hype right now because we've been deprived because of COVID, because we had all these announcements with Star Wars. But I have a feeling, I trust that this book, even if, like I said, if it dips off, it cools up a little bit, that long term, this book is going to be one of those hot books for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Obi-Wan series coming out next year as well. So, all right, I'm going to throw some numbers your way, Chris. In a 9.8, recent sales within the past, let's just say since October. There's one sale in October for $573 for a 9.8, end of October. Middle of November, $595, okay? Then here we go. The 4th of December, which was just a few weeks ago, $875. And then on the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, you had 3 separate issues that sold for $1,000 a piece.
Nice. Yep. It's it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I ironically, I have my issue in the press right now.
I mean, that's where it should be. It should be in pristine condition, as I expect all your books to be. But all right, moving on. What do we got next?
All right, number 2. I had to throw some DC love in here. Hey, look, I gave credit to them with all the Star Wars and Marvel announcements last week, and they dominated. DC still had one book up there in the number 1 spot, but they had a book up here that I had to recognize. for my number 2 pick, and that's Justice Society of America number 1. This is the first appearance of Cyclone, and Cyclone was announced for the Black Adam film. So, you know, of course, movie hype. But look, I picked this book because I think this series is really underrated, you know, and look, the covers, guys, I started collecting this series probably about 8 years ago now, simply because of the amazing covers. Alex Ross, so many iconic covers on this run, but obviously it's getting steam right now because of Cyclone's first appearance in the announcement. 372% increase in sales. CGC 9.8 sold for $106. This is still a very affordable book. If you could find a raw copy for, you know, $10 or less in a decently high grade, I say go for it. You have the ability to get it a press and clean, send it out to CGC, maybe make a little money if you're talking about flipping. But, you know, keep in mind, this is what I always say about the movie hype. You know, the announcement hit, people are now looking for it. Now, the second thing, we need to be hyped for, we need to be hyped when we come out of the movie theater, right? So if we see the movie and the character was like, and it's forgettable, then, hey, people are going to not pay much attention to the book anymore. So this is another one. It's a modern book. Who knows if this hype is going to retain long term? But like I said, I put it up there just because I like seeing this book on, because I think if you want to read an awesome run or collect a run because of some awesome cover art, this is a solid run to go after.
Yep, Alex Ross, goodness. But there's also a connection to Stargirl as well. I cannot remember what it was. I don't know if it's her first appearance, this version of Stargirl. But there was also, because the Stargirl TV show, there's some sort of connection with that as well. So there's 2 keys in this book. So definitely worth a look if you guys are interested, especially in where DCEU is going as in CW. All right, moving on to your final book of the week. Chris, what do you got?
All right, my number 1 is gonna make you happy, Jeff. I wish I would have picked this book up. I thought about it. I remember going through the previews on my comic shop, and I just I liked it. I saw the cover and I said, this is really reminiscent of some 1990s goodness. And I was like, so it is what it is. But my number 1 pick is Solid Blood number 17. What? 17? You talked about that last week, Jeff, where this is the first book, but it's numbered issue 17. What does that mean? So we know that there's a lot of speculation that this somehow correlates to Cates' crossover. And we know what Cates has been doing. Just amazing stuff. But Robert Kirkman seemed to be delivering some more amazing stuff of his own. This book had a 438% increase in sale. High Raw has hit $50, guys. So again, a lot of hype. I think what look, I didn't read the book. I don't know if you said you still haven't read it yet, Jeff, but look, like I said, there's a lot of appeal to this book within the story, within what it correlates to, and just within how they marketed the book. It's got that awesome 90s cover goodness. It looks like a Jim Lee or a Rob Liefeld book from or Eric Larson. Well, it actually has the Youngbloods font, so that Jim Lee 90s image goodness. It's got the newspaper stock paper on the inside pages. A lot of nostalgia around this book. But there's a lot of speculation on what's going on in this story and what it means to, a possible crossover or some kind of ties into Donny Cates. And we all know that Donny Cates has just been anything Donny Cates touch has a lot of hype around it. And, look, we know that Kirkman is a name in himself, but is that possible connection kind of propelling this book to where it's at? That's a question to ask.
That's a good question. I haven't read it yet either. I do love it. I love the paper to it. I love the smell, the old school smell. I know some of you guys are going to relate to that, but man, there's so many interesting things that it could be. You got Crossover 2 coming out. I'm not sure if it's next week, but that may have some answers as to what this book is. I need to read it before I talk any further on it, but I'll tell you what, Swagger House Comics and Games, that Solid Blood book is an interesting one. It's really thin too. I said the same thing last week, Swagger House, and somebody corrected me that it was paper in there. It wasn't the thick kind of almost cardstock that we get these days with covers and things like that. So it feels like it's thin, but it's an actual full-size comic book. So I said the same exact thing. So yeah, Key Collector thinks I think they may do this again. They saw it was successful, so what do they have to lose, really? I mean, it's Kirkman. He can do whatever he wants. That guy, with his Walking Dead money, he can do whatever he wants. And again, I'm excited to read it. I just have a few other things ahead of what things I want to read ahead of it, as well as other things I have to do. It's the holidays, everybody. We're all busy right now. So, anyways, but yeah, super excited. That's a great list this week. Absolutely great list. I can't wait for next week. But that is our top 10 hottest comic books of the week. Based off of Cover Prices data. We'll have another list next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. That's Wednesday, December the 30th, because New Year's Day is on a Friday. And we want to celebrate with our family.
Jeff, tell them the real reason. Tell them the real reason. You're going to be so hungover that you're not going to be up to doing a show on Friday.
That's a very good possibility, but it happens to everybody. I wouldn't be the only one watching right now that's going to have that problem either. So, anyways, right. Miguel Poole, hey guys, what's up, Miguel Poole? Happy you are here. Serge, hi guys, how are you guys doing today? We're doing great because we're talking about comic books and everything we love about it. We're happy that you're here to talk with us. And going back to Solid Blood, Jeffrey Claffey he has 3 Solid Bloods, hoping it takes off. It was an okay read. Interesting. Okay, now you've lessened my desire to read it, Jeffrey, but that's okay. I will get to it. I will get to it. All right, but moving on. Actually, speaking of Jeffrey, he sent us in a very good question. That, by the way, this is Q&A, guys. Anything you want to talk about? Let's do it before the show ends. But Jeffrey sent us an interesting question. I got to pull it up here. Apologies for the delay. On how to collect basically back issues, and it was such a long it would have been a long response to have in our YouTube messages, but basically he wants to know, he hasn't figured. I guess I'm assuming, Jeffrey, you're a new collector. You haven't figured out how to shop for back issues. I'd love to get your takes on approaching this. I think I had 10 or so books this week. Stillwater 4 is my best read. This is last week, by the way. Solid Blood. Online, probably paid too much. Anyways, I'm convinced. I wish. Okay, so he's asking about how to purchase back issue books. We asked in regards to back issues, what are you looking to get into? We'd be happy to help. Great question. I have new books figured out, basically the ones that come out each week. I have an online guy and an LCS. I know what I like. I read all the books. I also have figured out spec and variants when not paying over variant. I have a whole system. For back issues, I have no clue to where to begin. My biggest fear is my assumption that comic shops overcharge or know what every comic is worth. If I go in blind, I feel like I may overpay. How to hunt, how not overpay, how to zig when others zag. What is the next Star Wars, X-Men or DC that could come out to streaming? Long post, it's okay. It's a very good question, especially for people who are just getting into this. And there's no easy answer, but I know Chris has a lot to say, but what I'm going to say is start researching, start getting to know the trends, start watching those trends, start figuring them out, because basically if there was a formula, none of us would have this problem, but there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's how you want to do it, and also collect what you love, which a lot of people, especially Thorough, brings that up. Collect what you love. You'll never go wrong. But again, it's a lot of researching. There's a lot of message boards, a lot of sites that are dedicated to kind of speculating and things like that, watching out what hot issues are what. And even some apps that people dog, but they are useful tools. Like Key Collector, there are some major problems with Key Collector, but they can be helpful. Cover Price, very helpful as well. We love checking out Cover Price on the daily because they show what books were hot each day as well, what were some of the high sellers. So that's what we'd say to you, Jeffrey, is, again, just take knowledge in. And the more the less you won't overpay. You'll know what's hot. You'll know what to pick up and what to drop. Chris, I know you have many more words on this as well.
You just flowed. You just said, pick up what's hot. You know what to keep and what to drop. So Jeff's over here with the flows. He's busting. I bet you didn't even know you rhymed that there, did you?
No, I didn't. The bus is working out these days too, by the way. He's looking good. Anyways.
Yeah, great advice, Jeff. I think Jeffrey. So thank you for that advice, Jeff. But to Jeffrey's question, my first question would be, why would you buy them? Why are you buying back issue books? Are you buying them to invest? Meaning, are you buying them specifically to see a return on investment? Or are you buying them because you want to read the stories? Or are you buying them because you just love the character and you want to collect the character? So let me give you an idea on how I collect back issues. But first, you got to ask yourself all those questions. What are you in it for? All right. I buy back issues for a multiple reasons, a multitude of reasons. It's not just one. You may be similar, Jeffrey. You may have different reasons why you want to buy back issues. You might want to buy some back issues because you want to know what's hot. You want to get it. You want to see a return on investment, regardless if you want to maybe flip it or hold on to it long term, whatever the case may be. For me, when I'm going to use one example first. I am a collector of runs, right? So there's a lot of back issues that I collect. So I just enjoy collecting a lot of different things. Now let's kind of shrink that down. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Okay. So maybe you have your favorite Spider-Man, favorite character, right? So the way I would do that is, well, you got to focus on the character that you love. For me, another question that you would ask yourself, do you have access to local comic shops? Okay. Some people don't. Are you in the States? Are you overseas? That's another question you got to ask yourself. Me, I answer those. I say, I'm in the States. I have access to a plethora of comic book stores. I'm spoiled. I'm thankful. You know, I have like over a dozen, probably 2 dozen in the Sacramento city alone. So when I go to a comic book store, I know what to expect because I've been to enough of them. I gauged prices at every store. I see what I can do. Like Jeff said, do your research, see what they have them on eBay. And I'm going to tell you one thing. If you have access to local comic book stores, all right, especially if it's more than one within, say, like a 30 to 60 mile radius. If I was you and I was just looking for run fillers of my favorite character from Bronze Age to modern, I would be looking at my back issues to be anywhere from $1 to maybe $6, $7, and I'm not paying any more than that. Obviously, the $6, $7 would be more earlier Bronze Age stuff. Okay, I do that with A1. I know what to expect, and I know what I'm willing to pay. Does your LCS have sales? When I do back, here's what I do too. A1 Comics has sales pre-COVID. You know, say they have sales once every 3 months. I won't buy back issues for 3 months. I'll wait for an A1 sale. And then when I do, I'll budget $100, $150, and I'll go buy books in a run. So say I like Doctor Strange, and I go find books that are priced $3 or $4. They're decently high grade, and I get them for half off. So I know that if I'm looking for a run like Doctor Strange from the mid 70s to the 80s, I'm not going to pay more than a couple dollars a book. I know I can do that. But guys, or Jeffrey, you got to take into consideration what you have accessible for yourself. All right. Your situation may be different than mine. You may not have access to all those things. And if you don't have access to all those things, I refer back to what Jeff was saying. You just got to do your research. Using those apps are great. And I'm going to go to my last point. Jeff, did you want to interject? What's up?
No, I'll have one more thing to add, but no, go ahead.
Okay, well, let me just say then, let's use an example of if you're looking to speculate. If you're looking for a key book or a book that you think is hot, maybe you want to flip it, or maybe you want that long-term return on investment. You just want to seek out those hot books. The best way to do it, okay, say it's a book that's not out yet, right? You're saying back issue, or excuse me, a book that's already out. You're saying back issue here. So I always use multiple sources. You got to check eBay. I check Mercari. I'll check my local LCSs. I'll email or call my local LCSs, say, hey, do you have this book? What's the grade? What's the price? All right. And I'm patient. You have to have patience. Utilize cover price. Like Jeff said, you know, I have a lot of issues with Key Collector, but it's a solid resource overall. Don't just use one resource. Go Collect, cover price, Key Collector, use an Overstreet guide. You know, if you have one, I use all those things. Check out sold eBay sales of that book on eBay. All right. And once you do that, You got to set your price for the book. You can gauge what a fair market value is for this book. I just recently did it with this. Guys. I think, a fair market value for this book and a high grade is hundreds of dollars. I think even in a 9.8, it was like over $1,000. I think a 9.6 maybe was like maybe 300. I don't know. I'm running off the top of my head. And then I monitored. So I checked fair market value. I used coverprice.com. I checked all the recent sales. I go on eBay. I look at what the listings are. And then I say, okay, what grade will I be able to accept? All right. How low of a grade am I willing to go? But how high of a price am I willing to pay? And then I bring those two together to where I find something that works for me. And I had patience. I sat on this book for weeks. I saw multiple listings. I put multiple listings in my watch list on eBay, right? And I finally got one that's about a 5.0 for $11, which is definitely under current fair market value. So I really hope that helps out. You got to really ask yourself all the questions. What are you looking for? Why are you buying these books? And at the end of the day, do your research and find what you enjoy to collect, because guess what? We sometimes have to make mistakes to learn, or we have to do something that we don't necessarily, I don't really like that I did that, and maybe we learn from it and we start evolving as a collector and we realize what it is that we truly enjoy. There are learning curves. So.
Yeah, one additional thing I'd like to add is also have a strategy too. And there's different types of stuff. It's much different walking into a local comic book shop as opposed to being able to watch stuff on eBay, right? You have the luxury of time. Comic book shop, you're there for a finite amount of time, right? So know where you want to go, what you want to get, what you want to find, know which prices are acceptable, those kinds of things. Have a list of like things that you really want, and also you may start digging through the long boxes, which can be kind of therapeutic in a way. Mm-hmm. And you'll run into some things that are like, oh wow, this is great. You can pull out one of those apps to check to see what the prices are, to see if you're getting a good deal. Those kinds of things. But go in there having a strategy, because I've done this many a times. Just walk in there, I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, and then I walk out with a bunch of books I never wanted in the first place. You know what I mean? Just to buy things because I'm there. Right. So you want to avoid that. So again, try and have a strategy, especially when you physically go to a comic book shop. It's easier to have a strategy when you're watching things online, but going to the comic book shop, you're definitely going to want that strategy.
Yeah, I love that too. And I do that for myself, Jeff. Like before I go, like, A1's been having this back issue sale because of COVID. It was from Black Friday to the end of the year. But I've gone 3 times. And every time I went, I knew what I was looking for. Like the first time I said, I'm gonna focus on Batman and Superman stuff. And then the next time I went, I said, I'm gonna focus on Bronze Age Marvel. And then I hope to go one more time before the sale ends. And I'm telling myself what I'm gonna focus on, what my budget is before I even go. And it definitely, it gives me a better, because look, going into a comic book store can be overwhelming a lot, especially if it has a big inventory. Which A1 does. So sometimes it's like, oh man, how to make decisions. But yeah, go in there with the strategy. And like you said too, Jeff, maybe you can get sidelined from that strategy if you just see something that piques your interest. And then having those apps on your phone can really help. Like, oh, look, hey, I came in here looking for Batman stuff, but man, I just found this first appearance of this, and it's really low price. I'm gonna splurge and I'm gonna pick it up or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it may make more sense to get that issue than the one you originally thought you were gonna go and get in the first place. Serge Henderson just found Spider-Man. It's got to be Amazing Spider-Man 360 for free today, or for 60 cents. That's pretty close to free, 60 cents. So good work on that. That's a nice Bagley run, and close to, I guess, Carnage, which was what, 361? Is that right, Chris?
Yep.
So, good. Oh yeah, actually good stuff on that, Serge. Great. Anyways, so looks like we're starting to ramp down here. That's all we got for this week. Excuse me, not the COVID.
Love it.
Listen, we really, again, are truly grateful for you guys, be able to spend time with you guys once a week, talk about the things that we love. It's been a blast for us. We really, truly appreciate you all. We really hope that you guys have the best of holiday. Whatever holiday you celebrate, we hope you have a great one. And again, we'll be back next week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Again, Wednesday, December 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. But again, yeah, we're truly grateful, honored that you guys spend time with us each week. I know Chris has some nice words to say as well, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Again, yeah, really, really appreciate you guys. Look, we got one more show this year. That's crazy. We're wrapping up the year, and it's crazy to think that we've been doing this. It's going to be our 33rd episode, and 33 is my lucky number. So to be ending the year on 33, that's amazing. And I'm grateful for the experience. I think me and Jeff, if I could speak for you too, we're only beginning here. We have so much that we want to do and want to accomplish, and you guys being here each and every week is helping that out, obviously. And yeah, just I said wrapping up my show earlier tonight. I know this holiday season is a bit tough for a lot of us, but we got to make the best of it. Be grateful for the things that you have. Hopefully you guys can spend time with family safely, of course, or even if it's, doing something like this, look, be grateful that we have the technology to connect the way we do, even if we can't physically embrace. But with that being said, yeah, whatever holiday you guys celebrate, enjoy it. And one last thing too, I just want to mention A1 Comics. I'm heading over there now. As soon as we wrap up, A1 Comics still has almost 2 more hours of live sale going on, and they have a 50% off wall. So I hope they save me some goodness, because I'm going to be sitting there on Instagram. So yeah, go check out A1 Comics, guys. And thank you again for joining us tonight. And until next week.
Yeah, until next week is right. And don't forget to tag us on your fresh from the comic shop pickups. We love talking about it. Thank you, Swaggle House Comics, for doing that, and everybody else who kind of joined in. But tag us on Instagram. We want to see that. We want to bring it up, and we want to show it off for you on the show. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll be back again next week. Again, Wednesday, December 30th at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Have a great holiday. Until then, be safe. We will talk to y'all soon. Peace.